Miss Chris. Come here. Yeah. Miss Chris, you're on screen now.
Okay.
You want her to speak now? You can speak now, Miss Chris.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Christina Salvatika. I'm the principal of Siam Singapore International School, a demonstration school under the Wilayah Alongkong Ratchapat University under the royal patronage. We welcome you this morning to our workshop where my colleague, Mr. Alvin, and myself will be doing a sharing with you. Before we start, I will be playing a video that will introduce our school, Siam Singapore International School. So can we have the video, please?
You can speak now.
Okay, thank you very much for showing the video. As you can see in our school, we actually promote 21st century learning skills. As you can see, it's a holistic learning for our students, not only academically, but also character building. More specifically in our ICT class, the students start as early as in preschool, where they actually do some computer school ICT skills. And even in our primary school, the students will learn robotics as well as programming and coding as well. So a lot of this is actually enhancing their 21st century learning skill. Now back more on this topic. Basically what I will be doing is I will be sharing some slides, but mostly pictures of what we have been doing on our VLE, our virtual learning environment in Siam Singapore International School. Now I think right now all of us are facing this challenging time of COVID-19. As you all can remember back in February when it started, the virus started emerging, round about March 9th or 10th, we were sensing that there might be a possibility of schools being closed or countries having lockdown, especially even in Thailand, where there were cases coming up and people were getting quite concerned. So in our school, what we did round about March 9th and 10th was that we actually started before any announcement. We actually thought that it would be a good idea to do a dry run on how we are going to be able to do VLE lesson, how our VLE lessons going to carry out. Because I guess a few years, even talk about 8 months to a year back, nobody would know that we'll probably have to get on the virtual learning environment or create our own platform and all that for long-term learning for our students, or where schools will be shut, universities will be closed, and students will be studying from home. And of course, our colleagues and staff have to work from home. So nobody really expected that. But we were lucky because we thought ahead to say that, hey, this might be a possibility. So what we did was we did a dry run with our primary schools and secondary school students in our school. So we managed to do about a week of dry run before the announcement from WHO on the 11th of 11th of March, to say that there was a pandemic and that, everybody should be taking the precautions. So on March 16 in Thailand, there was an announcement and advice for closure of school. So that was when we actually have already had some practice. So our primary and secondary school students went online. So what we did was we actually used the Google Meet to actually start conducting our lessons. And as you can see here in this picture, our teachers started going from languages to ICT to even PE. We actually had videos where students are supposed to send in their videos to do PE, art activities, etc. were all done on VLE. So if you can see, our VLE classes were actually done for all our primary and secondary school students first. We had our morning briefings with all our staff, making sure that life still continues, our school still continues, but on a virtual learning platform. Basically what we did for our preschool at that time, because we didn't want to have them have too many screen time yet, until they are more comfortable. So what we did was we actually had our preschool had pre-recorded activities. So every day there was activities, we were following a timetable. We managed to get all the activities as well as videos up online. They actually go through the class dojo, and our students and our parents are able to retrieve it. And what we did also is to make sure that we prepare packages for our parents and our students to actually do the activities. So there was no loss in learning time, especially for those core subjects that they actually need to learn. So learning still continues on that. After that, in April, we even did a Songkran festival where we actually have all these activities ongoing. So even with COVID and even staying at home, we try to make sure that the celebration continues, the learning continues. And every day there is always an interaction with management, with staff, and also with students. And moving on to in May, what we did was we actually have our students from our kindergarten 1 and kindergarten 2, they also came online, but our kindergarten section, they started using Zoom. So on top of that, class assignments, lessons and all that still went on Class Dojo. Homeworks were submitted on Class Dojo. Markings were written. So life still goes on this learning platform as well. We even had an online enrichment classes. And when we have enrichment classes, these are not even our own students, but we managed to get external students who actually joined us for enrichment classes. And they themselves also went on robotics, on different enrichment classes. And they were all also, they all came aboard also on the VLE as well. So like you say, though we were facing a bit of a challenging time with COVID, but we ensure that the students' learning still continues. So if you can see, then after that, sometime in June, we even had our online examination. As you can see, there were teachers monitoring how the student performed. And actually, to add that, we had about 3 or 4 students who were doing their online lessons in China. So we had to adapt and accommodate time differences, and also adapt that, whether they had Wi-Fi issues and things like that. So a lot of supports were done on the learning platform. And as you can see, examinations were going on. We actually had the questions done online, and the students were able to were prepared on their packages, whereby they actually write down the answers, take photograph, and then they send the answers back to us, and marking was done almost immediately. So we also had our summer classes where our teachers also had activities on for our students as well. So if you can see that there are a lot of activities going on as well. And we did our first virtual graduation for our kindergarten as well as our primary 6 student. So virtual online, that means what the non-graduating class, the parents were able to view the graduation online as well. So there were greetings and well wishes from our management who were not in Thailand because we were not able to travel, but we actually had our graduation all online. So this is what I have for you. And now I introduce to you my colleague, Mr. Elvin, who is actually the brain behind this VLE platform. Okay, thank you very much. ขอบคุณมากนะคะ
Hi, สวัสดีครับ So my name is Alvin Ray Castañeda. I'm the head of ICT of Siam Singapore International School, and I want to welcome you to our first international teachers meetup by Worlddidac Asia in Siam Singapore International School. So before we start, I would just want to ask everybody to comment for sound check if all the sounds is working. Yeah. So please, we want to do some sound check if all the audio is working well. Okay. If there's no problem, then we can proceed. Okay. So since the advent of this pandemic, the role of technology has become as important as ever. Then we at Siam Singapore International School, our duty is to provide a continuous learning environment for our students, whether they are at home or they're at school. So what we did for our VLE helped achieve the dream, and we make sure that all the lessons and all the teachers have their constant communication with their students. So I hope that whatever we're going to show you today will assist you in building your own virtual learning environment in case you might need them. So before we start, I would just want to remind everybody that you are free to send your comments and questions to our live Facebook chat. I think it's below. We will have some Q&A at the end of the session. So before we start, our topic for today is building your own learning portal is easy. So what we're going to show you today is exactly how we approach virtual learning environment on our campus. So I hope that what we're going to show you can be applied into your own virtual learning environment in case you might need them. So we can proceed now. So what is an online learning portal? An online learning portal is a gateway to all the courses, resources, and instruments that facilitate teaching and learning. Technically speaking, it's a website that acts as a repository of teaching and learning materials. So basically, a learning portal is just a singular central location of all your resources, whether it's modules, videos, or any activities that you might have in your class. So you can put them in one location, so it will be easy for the students and parents alike to access them. Remember that learning, online learning is a difficult process also. It will take a lot of getting used to for both parents, students, and teachers alike. So what we're trying to achieve today is create a simple online learning portal for everybody to use. So why do you need to build your own learning portal? Number one, time and cost effectiveness. It's easy and it's more cost effective if you're going to build it on your own. If you're going to ask or probably hire services for other learning portals, it will cost you a lot and it's not cheap. It will cost the school or you yourself to purchase those kind of learning portals. Second is scalable. You can add more functions in the future whether you need them or not. So if you don't need a function, you can remove them, or if you need a function, you can add them whenever you like. Remember, your role as an administrator of your school or as a teacher is to provide an easy access for your resources to your students. So you can scale your learning portal anytime you like. Number three is a personalized touch. A personalized touch is just to mold your learning portal based on what you need. If you don't need them, you don't need it in your learning portal. So you can adjust it based on what are your class's needs. Number four, consistent delivery of learning resources. You can deliver your learning resources anytime, consistently, where everybody can access them easily, and you can access them consistently and easily anytime they like. Remember, when we share these resources, it also creates a stress to our students and parents, because it will confuse them further on where to access those resources. So we need to have this consistency of delivering our learning resources. So who are the stakeholders to consider when building your online learning portal? Number one is your educators. Number two, your students. And number three, parents. These three stakeholders are very important when thinking for your own learning portal. Why? It's because they are the ones who will consistently use your learning portal. So if an educator doesn't know how to use your learning portal, he might not deliver the proper learning environment for your students. If a parent who doesn't know how to use your learning portal or find it difficult, she might not be able to assist your students in accessing those learning modules for their kids. And for the students who is actually in the front line for this learning portal, they will also have an issue because it will be difficult for them to access those resources, and it will cause more trouble for both the educators and parents if the students aren't able to get their resources. So what are the elements of an efficient online learning portal? Number one, your learning portal should be simple from both function and form. Why we say simple, in function, it means that you can easily use the portal with little or to no training at all. Also, in form, it needs to be simple enough to be understood and with less training or interaction with the students. Remember, if our learning portal is quite difficult to use, it will be useless for the students or parents or teachers alike. So we need to make sure it's simple. Number 2, easy navigation. We don't need complex navigation in going to different resources. It needs to be easily accessible anytime. So the navigation should be direct and easy to use. Number 3 is micro-learning. Unlike traditional learning methods, when we do online learning, it's important that we do micro-learning. Micro-learning is giving information in little pieces. We don't need to give a whole module from 1 to 100. The best way to do this is to give this in pieces. So it's easily accessible and readable by the students who will use them. Number 4 is communication. Communication is important, especially during this time, because most of you will not be having any direct communication with your students or parents. So most of your communications will be done online also. It is important to remember that communication at this point is imperatively important to all parties, or I mean stakeholders, because even though your online learning portal is simple, your learning portal is beautiful, if they don't know how to use it, or they might encounter problems, you are responsible in communicating this to them. So you need to have constant communication to all stakeholders. And number 5 is support. The role of ICT and ICT workers are important in having this online learning portal. Even though you don't have an ICT support at this time, it is important that you have support ready for everybody, for both teachers, students, and parents. Remember, no matter what, these are technologies, these are softwares, these are hardwares. It might break anytime. So you must be there to support your stakeholders easily. So what are our objectives today? Number 1 is to build a simple online learning portal that is simple, accessible, and scalable. Use software that is easy to use and is readily available. So we're building a simple online learning portal today, and then if you can join me in building it too. We will not use complicated softwares. We will only use simple softwares that are easily available to us. And what are those tools? So if you have a Google account, whether it's a personal or an enterprise level account, you can have them. It will work. So you need a Gmail account, Google Sites, Google Sheets, Google Calendar, Google Docs, Google Classroom, and Google Meet. So all of this are already readily available when you sign up for your Google account. So in case you don't have a Google account, you can sign up at https://mail.google.com. If you want, you can sign up now. Okay, so again, as a reminder, for those who are later at this presentation, please feel free to send your comments, questions to our live Facebook chat. We will have some Q&A at the end of this session. So without further ado, we'll start on our presentation. Okay, so basically, I have my Gmail. So I think for most of us, this is the starting point of our Google account. Most of us, I think 80 to 90% are using Gmail. So once I have your Gmail account, you already have all the resources that we're needing for the next task. So how do we access some of these? The easy way to access them is for our apps toolbar here. So you will see your Google Apps here. If you click this side, you will see all the available applications you can use. So you can use all of them anytime for your online learning portal. But of course, we're aiming for a simple online learning portal. So we're going to have a bare bone online learning portal that we're going to build today. So what we're going to use is a Google site. So as you know, Google site is a tool to make websites. Another one is Google Drive. As you know, Google Drive is your online online drive. You can save your files in there on the cloud. Next is Google Sheets, which is also accessible in your Google Drive. This is Google Sheets. Then we will have your Google Classroom. Okay, we will use all of these tools today, but first we need to build our calendar. I think I forgot to say the calendar in there. So let's go to calendar. Calendar is also available on our Google Apps. So calendar is, okay, if you cannot see calendar here, you can just type calendar.google.com. Okay, so here is your personal calendar already. So why do we need a calendar? Calendar will be our main listing of timetables. So we can put the subjects there, we can put the classes there anytime we want. So if you want to add a class, so for example, I click today. So the class, let's say it's English. Then we will ask this for our English class, and we will add a time. The time will be from, let's say, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay. So if you want this class to do not repeat for the next week, you can choose does not repeat. But if you want this to be repeating every week, you can make it as daily, weekly on Saturdays, monthly on the second Saturday, annually on October 10, or much preferably every weekday. So I will choose Monday to Friday. Then I will add a Google Meet. Remember, Google Meet is our video conferencing. It's similar to Zoom, but this one is provided by Google Meet, by Google itself. So it's built in within the Google apps. So if I try to create a Google Meet on this one, this schedule, this subject is already, the Google Meet here is attached to this subject. So whatever you do, you just click this button here and it will go to the video conferencing session. So after that, some of them here you can add location. This is just optional, you don't need to fill them up. And you will also, you can notify if this is a busy moment for you. So both of these are just optional. So after that, you can just save and it will show up here. So like I've said, this is set up as every day. So you can see this every day here. Okay. So what I listed there is that this will only run Monday to Friday. So it will only show up Monday to Friday. Okay. After that, we can move to a different. So we will leave this first because we will use this later when we build our portal. So this will be attached to our portal later. Okay. So after that, we go to Google Sheets. Why I asked Google Sheets, I already pre-made a timetable here, a sample timetable. Okay. Why I made this timetable is very simple. I could attach, instead of the calendar, instead of showing the calendar itself, I could attach this timetable directly to your portal. So based on our experience, this calendar here is quite difficult for students to use. So some of them are having issues using this calendar. So the best way for us, in our experience, is to show a timetable like this. Okay, but how are we going to use this simple timetable to our online learning environment? So like I've created here, we have the English class here. Below that is the link. That link here can be used to actually run a video conferencing using Google Meet anywhere where you can use this link into that text. So if I copy this link here, I have this sheet here, Google Sheets. So if that is English, I will just link it into this English class. Okay, this is English class. Then I could create a link. See, insert link. And I can paste that same link in here. Then if I click apply, that link is already readily available for your Google Sheet. For your Google Sheets, I mean. Okay, if you create additional subjects, let's say, for example, we go back to our Google Calendar. We can say we create a math subject. Then this runs from 9 to 10. Okay, then it repeats every weekdays, and then I'll save. Maybe I edit this a little bit. Click this all day from 10 to 10:30, and let's save. Okay. So I'm going to add a Google Meet video conferencing. Sorry, I forgot this. And then save. Okay. I will copy this. Then after I copy this, I'm going to insert this link again also. And I click apply. All right. So this Google Sheet here, some of the links are already placed. So when we're going to build our online portal later, we're going to choose between the two. You can use the Google Calendar if you prefer, or you can use this timetable in Google Sheets if you find this easy. So I like to go now to my Google Sheets, to my Google Sites. Then I'm going to create a empty website. Okay. Google provides some pre-made designs already, pre-made layouts that you can choose. So if you click themes, you can choose from the themes here. I like this one. Okay. Then I will name this site as my online portal. And I will name this site as my learning portal. Okay. You can add your logo, by the way. If you need to add your logo, you want some branding on your own learning portal, you can add logo here. Then afterwards, you can insert objects already. Remember, we did some calendars, we did some Google Sheets earlier. We can insert them immediately. So how are we going to insert them? So if you click Insert tab here, you will see the calendar. If I click Calendar, you can see the test calendar. This is the calendar that I inserted my schedule earlier. So if I click this, I'll just click Insert, and you will see the calendar here. Here, okay. So if you prefer this kind of layout, you can do the agenda, or you can do the monthly layout. Sorry, you can choose the monthly, the view mode. We call it the view mode. You can choose the agenda view mode, the week view mode. The week view mode looks like this. Okay, here. Or if you prefer, you can choose also the monthly view mode. Okay, so you can choose this view mode if you wish, or you can choose another view mode, depends on your preference. So we can add also, but we're going to compare between this type of view, or we can choose the Google Sheets that we just created earlier. So let's see. Excuse me, can I lower the picture-in-picture for a while? Thank you. I cannot see. Okay, here. So I click the Google Sheets. Okay, so we created the timetable earlier here in Google Sheets. So I'm just going to click this. I'm going to insert. Okay, so it's inserted here. So for me, if you ask me, I prefer this mode because it's easy for the students to know, since they know already their timetable. It's easy for them just to click anytime their subjects, and it will automatically open Google Meet. So if you prefer this view, then you can choose this view. You can choose. Okay. Afterwards, you can add links. So if you have many sections, if in case you have many sections, you can add pages. Like for example, I click pages and I will type primary 1. You can insert the timetable on this page. So I'm inserting Google Sheets. So instead of putting it on your home page, you can put it on your primary 1 page. Okay. So what we're trying to do here doesn't mean this is the only way to go. It depends on how you approach your online learning environment. Not every school has the same approach. So approach them in a way that fits your learning style, what your school provides, and also what is easy for your students to achieve. We're not also saying that use only this software to create your own learning portal. You can use any softwares that you like. Just make sure that when you're using a software, you must make sure that the kids, the students, the parents, or the teachers know how to use this software. It is impossible to use a very difficult VLE, especially if you don't have much time. Remember, training is important at this point. So make sure that they get trained how to use your online learning portal. Afterwards, so if you think you are already finished with your online learning portal, so I go to my home page, right? So I don't really need this portal here. I don't really need this calendar here because it's redundant already. We already have the primary 1 timetable. We can just delete this. So what we can put on our online portal, it's very simple. We can create a Google Docs. So let's try to go to Google Docs. So remember earlier I said communication is very important. This is the place I think that we can put our communication to our students and parents. So I'm going to create an online bulletin board using Google Docs. So I will type bulletin board. So online bulletin board, I'll make it bigger. Okay. Then first thing is 7:30 to 8 o'clock virtual assembly. Okay. So I think this is clear enough. Virtual assembly. Then 8 o'clock up to 8:05 meetup, online meetup. Then from 8:05 to 3:30 classes. Then if you want to tell your students to prepare your homeworks, then we can write it here and we can save this as bulletin board. So this online bulletin board can be inserted into our learning portal already. So since we are here at our home page, we can insert a Google Docs and we can insert the bulletin board document. Oops, I think it's just the BU just started. Hold on for a while. All right, let's try again. Hold on for a while. Okay, let me refresh this one first. Oops. Probably I'll delete this first. Having some technical problems in Google Docs. Okay, probably I should type this again. I'll create a new document. And probably I should retype this. Virtual board. So instead of this, we can insert a new virtual board here. All right, here we go. Okay, here you go. So we have our own virtual board already. And then we have the links from the different pages here on top. By the way, you can still change the themes. Depends on your preference. You can choose it. I prefer this theme here. So you can change it whatever you like. And then after that, if you are ready, you can now publish your site. By the way, if you may ask, how about the security of your page? When we publish this site, basically this will be open for everybody, but you can arrange and fix how your site will be viewed or accessed by different users. So before we go there, let's type online learning as the web address 2020. Oh, it's taken already. On let's say SSIS online learning. Okay, here you go. You can customize your URL if you want, and then you can customize who can view your site. So basically, the site can be viewed by anyone, or you can manage them here. You can choose only certain people to access them. Like if you have the emails of your students, you can list them in here. And then if they are not listed here and you choose that will be shared for a few people, other people who are not included on this list will not be able to see your site. So for us, we're going just to change this to be basically like everybody can see it. Okay? And then there is a search settings here to request public search engines to not display my site. So if you click this, your online learning will not be searched in Google. So you can maintain your online learning's privacy. So if you chose these settings, just click publish. Then you will see it's publishing. Then afterwards, you can already view your published site. Okay, here you go. Your basic online learning portal. Okay. Like I've said earlier, you can choose whatever style and you can choose whatever method of showing information to your virtual learning environment. But remember, you must make it easy for your stakeholders to access it. So I think this one is simple already enough for everybody to use. So as you can see, I have the pages here. If I click primary one, I can go to my primary one timetable. Okay. So if I click here, I can already access the Google Meet. If I click this, there you go. Then it will ask you to, if Google Meet can access your camera or and microphone, just click allow. All right. So I'm going to show myself. Oops. All right. There you go. Hello. Then you can join now. Your students can join already if they see this. They click join now, then you can start your class using Google Meet. Okay, I'll close this first. Okay, that's it. It's very simple. Also, if you want to add further features, like let's say you want to add resources. Okay, so I'm going to add a feature here. Google Classroom. Okay, so if I want to add Google Classroom here, and I want to add a link. Probably this is not a good idea. That doesn't look nice. I think it's better if we add a different module here. So I'm going to add a button. Let's say we add a button here. Let's say Google Classroom. P1 Classroom. Oh, sorry, this is HTTPS. Then classroom.google.com. I click insert. I'll make it bigger. And that's it. We publish. So you can see the differences between your previous layout to your updated layout. This is the previous one, the current one, and this is the draft. Whatever you saved here, the currently published one will turn into the draft. So I'll publish here. And then afterwards, I'm just going to refresh this. And, oops, it's not refreshing. Oh, yeah, because I'm in primary one, I'll go to home. Here. See, I have my button here ready. If I click this, I'm already in my Google Classroom. So what is Google Classroom? This is your learning, let's say this is a learning management software. This is provided by Google for free. It's included when you sign up for your free Google account. So, how to use this Google Classroom? By the way, you can use Google Classroom not using Google Sites. By itself, it's already fine. So, how can we use Google Classroom in our virtual learning environment? So, as you can see here, you have links on the top. You got the stream, you got the classwork, you got the people, and you got the grades. So if I want to invite my class, my students, into my P1 Maths, all I need to do is to ask them to input this classroom. So if you are in Google Classroom right now, you can input this classroom code into your Google Classroom. Then you will be joined on my Google P1 Maths class. Okay? I'm going to show this for a few seconds, and then we will proceed. Okay. Okay, as a reminder again, while I'm waiting, you can please feel free to send your comments or questions to our live Facebook chat. We will have some Q&A and at the end of the session. Okay, so I'll proceed now. Let's see if someone joined. Okay, no one joined. So that's fine. It's only me. So that's fine. We proceed. Okay, so let's go through how is Google Classroom going to help us on our virtual learning environment. So here is our communication area. We share everything here on this dashboard. So for example, if you want to greet your students, which is a good habit for the teachers, welcome to P1 Maths. I'm going to post. So every time your students log into their P1 Maths, they will see this. Okay? They can comment here. They will probably say good morning back. Let's say, good morning, teacher. Since I don't have a student right now, I'll pretend that I am also the student. Good morning, teacher. Then click send. There you go. Okay. So after this, you also have what we call classwork. So on your classwork, you can add, number one, assignments, quiz assignments, questionnaires, materials, and reuse posts. You can also add topics here. So for my ICT class, I usually use Google Classroom in showing what is our current topic for that day. So for example, our topic for today is addition. Okay. We have addition as our topic for today. So for this topic, I will add certain materials. Let's say I want to insert a YouTube video. This YouTube video is about addition. So I will add a YouTube link. You can search YouTube directly here on Google Classroom. Here. Then click search. So as you can see, it's really easy to share resources in Google Classroom because everything is given to you in the same environment as that you are working. You don't need to switch to a different tab to actually create a link. So I want to add this video here, and I will click add. Then I could add a description, but that is optional. You can also create some documents. You can create slides. You can create Google Sheets for some spreadsheets. You can create drawings, or you can create forms. So this is just additional resources for your students to use. So if you are finished already adding materials, you can already add a topic, which topic you want this material to be associated with. So you can click addition. Then afterwards, you can click whose student going to access this material. So if you want all students to access the same material, you can click this, make sure this is clicked, and you can click post. There you go. Okay. So if you go to your stream again, you will see that I added a material. It's called addition. So if your students see this, they will just access this and they will be able to access all the resources that you you associated with for this topic. They can also comment, they can ask questions, they can also you can also communicate with them about this topic here. Okay? All right. Then next. After that, for this topic, we can also create an assignment. Okay, so it says in here, let students know how their assignment will be evaluated. Create a rubric and use it for grading or providing feedback. Okay, so we're creating a rubric for our assignment here. So our assignment is solve the following questions. So the instructions is answer all the questions, display. Okay, we're just having some example here. So on our create, we can add a questionnaire. Okay, students can view, or they can edit a file or make a copy of each student. So if you have more than one student, of course, you want them to make a copy of each file so they could share their answers in there. So I'm going to make a copy for each student. Then the questionnaire is, if I click that, it will go to my Google Sheets. The questionnaire is, let's say, 10 plus 10, 12 plus 12, then 20 plus 20. Then after that, I can type the title of this file as questions, then click share. And then usually all of the settings here is as complete already. So the one who is enrolled on this class is already readily accessible for them. So if you're done or you want to add more probably teachers to assess the answers, you can add them here. Then if not, you just can click done. Then after that, click assign. Like I've said, here you can choose all students or you can choose particular students if you want them to have different questions for each of them. Then for the rubrics, you can add how many points for this. For example, 10. And then due date. When is the due date of the activity? When is the due date? Probably, for example, probably on 14th. And then time is optional. Let's say 1:59 p.m. or 11:59 p.m. Then after that, just click assign. Okay, so your homework is already readily available for your students. Okay, there you go. So if you go to your stream, they will already see that they have a homework. Then if they click this, they can already answer. You will see the students who submitted their work here. Then if they submitted their work, you are readily able to grade them after you check them. Okay. All right. can we minimize the picture? Okay, thank you. Okay, so next. Okay, let's remove this first. Okay, so you can also add different objects for your online portal. You have the forms, you can add charts, you can add slides, you can add documents, you can add maps, calendars, YouTube videos, and other objects here. Collapsible text, table of contents, image carousel, and buttons. So you can customize your Google sites with whatever you like. Then after that, if you make changes to your site, just click publish again. Okay, there's no publish changes. All right, there you go. Okay, I hope this online learning portal is simple enough for everybody to use, that you can do it on your own. Remember, simplicity is always important when you're building this kind of sites. The users will be the one to use this, and make sure that you take into consideration how will the users work or experience the environment that you build for them. So when we build this kind of sites, it's important that you make this as clearer as possible, and then you share this information to all the stakeholders like students, parents, and teachers. Okay, that's all. I hope that everybody has learned something for today. And I like to remind everybody that there is a comment and questions. We have a live Facebook chat. You can submit your Q&A at the end of the session. Thank you. While we're waiting for comments and suggestions, I just want to remind everybody that you can use different tools, different softwares to build this. What we've shown today is just one strategy for you to follow, but you can use different softwares. You can use different tools. What's important is familiarity for those softwares. If you are familiar with a different software, or your students are familiar with a different software, you can use that already to create your online portal. You don't need to change or add a new feature if you don't really need them. So it's very important to have this kind of approach to our online learning environment. Any more questions? Have questions? Okay. So first question is, how often do teachers teach online for grade 1 to 2? So based on our experience for grade 1 to 2, we do every day. So what we did on our online learning portal is the timetable that we applied for our online learning portal is we changed the timetable a little bit, because online learning is kind of different and it's kind of taxing. It's kind of difficult for the teachers, students also, and parents to do online learning like without stop. So what we did is, like, for period 1, we will give them like 15 minutes, 30 minutes of break to go to the next period. So, but they still do this class every day. It depends also what subjects. If it is a core subject like maths, science, English, Thai language, Mandarin, we do that every day. But we just arrange and change the time to give, like you said, give rest to the students and also the teachers also, so they will not tax them along the way. It's very tiring, to be honest, to do online learning. It's taxing for both the teachers and also the students. How can we give students points using online lessons? Many ways. There are many ways to give points. You can use Google Classroom if you want. There is also an app called Class Dojo. Class Dojo is a good tool also to add points for your learning. You can also use any tools that you have. I think the easiest way is there's a word called gamification. When you gamify things, you approach the learning like you're playing a game. You have points, then you can use Class Dojo or Google Classroom. You can use Google Sheets. If you want to give points to your students, I think it's important that, let's say, for example, you show the points in front. The teachers will share the screen. Ben, a student, has 10 points. Show it on your screen. Gina, who is a student also, has 20 points. You show it on the screen. So it's important to show everything. Show everything on the screen. Be interactive. Not just communications by words, but also through pictures. Pictures says a lot. I think better than words itself. You can show everything in there, in front. And besides, the students are more engaged at this time. Believe me, if they are engaged in online learning, it's easy for them to actually learn. Okay. Thank you to the organizers and all staff for sharing your knowledge and experience of organizing fun and useful online learning teaching today. Thank you very much for participating, also for listening to us, and I hope what we shared today is beneficial for your online learning journey, and I hope that we will be of service to all of you. Miss Ying Tong Charoen, thank you very much. How do you think online learning, teaching and learning in Thailand is similar of that different to that of Singapore? I think it's not about countries. I think it's all about approach. How you approach your online learning differs, whether they are in Singapore, Thailand, USA. But I think a common denominator for all this online learning is the tools. Like you might be using Zoom, you might be using Google Meet, you might be using Microsoft Teams. It's just the tools that differs. It's how you approach your online learning. It doesn't really change that much whether what country they are. It's the tools itself. Some are similar, some are different also. So that's it. How do the school provides IT support to parents and students when they have a problem to attend online class? This is a perfect question. We experience this a lot during our online learning. We have countless of issues happen during our online learning. And to be honest, we might look like experts in online learning, but to be honest, before we get there, we experience all the problems already. There is one case, for example, like a kid cannot attend a class because they don't know how to use it. So basically, the IT team is on standby. Whether the class is ongoing, the parent will call us, the IT team. We give our information through line. So we have a line group. They send their message in there that, oh, our kid cannot use this. And then our IT team is there to support them how to solve the problem. So your IT team should always be ready, always be on ready, whether there is a class or not. Usually the support goes up to like 6 o'clock in the evening, 7 o'clock in the evening. So the IT team, the support, the technical support is integral at this time because they will be the one to help the parents and the students to access the classes as much as possible. Although there are cases that there are delays that we need to create a special class on a different time to compensate for that lost time. So we have communication with the parents and then the teachers also.
Actually, in addition,
Yeah.
just let me jump in for viewers. In addition, there are actually more than just software problems, but there were also hardware problems.
Yeah.
Some students didn't have their laptops with them, or they didn't have enough laptops. So we actually did arrange for laptops for parents or for parents to come and collect from the school, and they actually used it at home. The other thing was that most of our lessons, actually all of our lessons are also recorded. So some students, what they had is if they missed the lessons or they want to review the lessons were also recorded. We actually tried to, like what Mr. Alvin said, in terms of the number of periods, most of our timetabling initially was all focused on core subjects. The non-core subjects like PE and art, what we did was we sent the assessments, we sent the assignments to the students through our class dojo and also through the emails to some of the parents who can't access it. So what we did was we sent the assignments there and they actually take picture and send it back. So most of the timetabling, because core subjects, and I think in Thailand, a lot of parents were concerned with regards to, let's say, too many periods. So what we did was we focused on the core subjects, and the non-core, we allowed them to actually do it on their own time. So this also, one, ensures that there were breaks in between, and two, ensure a continuous learning. So not only a continuous learning, that they can actually also access the lessons if they want to for a repeat or for a revision.
Can we go to the previous question, the software, about the software? Okay, there's a previous question called how the school provides, the other one about the software. Okay, when you mention about the software, in your view, what is an alternative choice? There are many alternative choice. You can go from Google Apps, like what you've seen today. You can use Class Dojo if you want to. You can also use those well-tested, that old softwares called Moodle. You have Moodle. They also have even WordPress, or even the basic conferencing software only, like even Google Meet. You can use Zoom also for your online learning. Actually, we also use Zoom for some of our classes. So you can use softwares. I think if you want to have a software choice, you can try to check out Class Dojo also. We use Class Dojo also for our, as an alternative for our online learning. Another one? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your appreciation. It will be much easier to follow for non-technical person if a mind map of a subject is available. Yeah, I understand. The mind map will be a very, very efficient way of sharing knowledge if it's available. Thank you for the suggestion. Thank you very much. Thank you for the useful information. This knowledge can help us to improve the classroom management in a new normal. Mr. Gibbs said it right? Okay. What are the pros and cons of learning online lessons at a very young age compared to the more older students? How effective can this prevail? Okay. Number one cons. I'll start with the cons. The cons is the eyes. The eyes. It's taxing for the students' eyes, especially at age like 7 or 8. Looking at the screen like 3 to 5 hours straight is already taxing for the students. That's why the Siam Singapore, the school's management decided to actually give resting time for the students, but it's really taxing, especially on the students' eyes. Also, from another cons is attention span. Usually attention span is less when you do online learning because they are in a computer, they can get easily distracted. There are many ways to distract students during online learning. So the teachers needs to be always extra careful, always aware what the students is doing. But the pros is it's easy to distribute learning materials. It's easy to distribute learning materials, and also it's easy to manage your class, especially if you have an engaging lesson, because you can actually show it. It's more visual, not just verbal. You can visually show the lesson itself. You can even actually play an online game together. If you for example, like Kahoot. Kahoot is a great online education and gaming platform also. If you want to, you can use that and it will engage the student. It's easy to be engaging online. than like a normal traditional learning environment. Oh, by the way, there is another one. How effective can this prevail? This can be effective if done properly. Like, you don't tax your students by showing this like the whole day. You can prevail on your online learning if you have to manage the time and also the lessons. Because when you go on traditional, you have to write things, you have to demonstrate personally. But if you are online, you need to be visual. So there are many ways of more preparation for the teachers, and also many ways for the students to check when they are learning online. So I think these are the pros and cons of learning, doing online learning. I think this is the last question for us. Thank you very much for your participation. And I think Ms. Chris has something to say. Ms. Chris, I think you're muted. I think you're just muted.
Okay. Hi. Sorry. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us in this session. I'm sure some of you may have some queries after digesting the information that's given. You can actually also visit our school if you are in Thailand, or you can drop us an email to our school. Myself is at my email address if you all want to take it down, or we can actually post it up. My email address is rbi.kris@gmail.com, and Mr. Elvin's email is ssis.alveen@siamsingapore.com. So if you want to, I'm sure the organizers will also help you with this. If not, you can visit our website. You can actually, or our Facebook at Siam Singapore International School Facebook post. So anyway, once again, thank you very much for all your feedback and also for your questions. And I just hope everybody keep safe and keep well. Thank you very much.